There is no question that I love family history
Oh yeah,
so
she's a family
much.
history enthusiastical, we
Oh
call her,
yeah,
and
that's
everybody
me.
knows it.
Absolutely. It is no secret. In fact, not long ago, our little 4-year-old Adelaide came bounding through our door and she said, Grammy, what kind of family history are we going to do today? And that's just what we do. I love it.
They even call her Grandma Camera because she's always taking pictures and documenting everything.
Yes, I am. But Shirley, I also appreciate that you shared the benefits and the blessings of doing family history because they are real. And we've had many experiences, as I'm sure that many of you viewers have, where you know that doing family history has worked a miracle in your family. And we want to wrap everyone we know, especially those dear to us, in those promises and help them in every way that we can in this crazy world that we live in, right? So, I really feel like at least our main message is to let all of you know that it's important, it's essential to do temple and family history work, but it's not hard and it's not beyond us. And there are so many resources, and it's worth the effort that we can put in to get those promises into our lives and the lives of those we love.
I mean, what we really need to do is just let our ancestors come back to life. Wouldn't it be really fun to have somebody away from the past just come and tell their own story? Because if we really felt that story and had it come alive, that would be amazing. So we want to invite Grandpa Orson, who happens to be her grandfather, to kind of join us today and share his own personal words. This is from 1915 when he was on his mission in Hawaii, when they were the first time finishing the Hawaiian temple. He's going to share some of his feelings about what it was like to live back then.
I'd like you to know a little bit about my life. Strange to say, Lincoln and I had a few things in common. Each of us was born in a little log cabin. We both had good long legs, wonderful parents, and each aspired to be useful in the world. He succeeded. I was born in Freedom, Wyoming, October 11, 1892, where the snow piled up over the fence posts in the winter, and the temperature dropped 60 degrees below zero. Many were the times when we boys would take the rear end of a sleigh, go up the mountainside on the hard crust, and ride for a mile or so over fence tops, skimming over the frozen snow. My first 11 years were spent in Star Valley, Wyoming, shifting back and forth from Freedom to Grover, and vice versa. In Freedom, our home was situated on the northwest corner of a section of land where we raised wild hay and cows. My job in the summer was to sit on the rail of a hayrack, hanging onto the ladder with one arm and driving the team with the other, as we pulled the big hay loader behind. My parents were.
And that's
Thanks,
good.
Mark.
Thank you.
So,
Isn't that so incredible? That's on My Heritage, and you can do it. You can come up with a picture and a story and make that happen. It's called Deep Story. And at first, the first thing they came out with was Deep Nostalgia. And that was just like smiling, the picture. And then
weird.
they came up with the words. And honestly, if it wasn't so cool and so awesome, it'd be kind of eerie. But it's so wonderful, and there are so many crazy fun things like that come out. They meaning lots of sites and platforms come out with new things to do and to try all of the time. And
but think of what that would be like to pick any ancestor, pick up, as long as you have a picture. That's actually his own history. He wrote those words, so he's actually saying his own words. But to put any picture of any ancestor and have them speak the words to you live,
that's
exciting.
So cool. That's right. And there, like we said, there are things like that coming out all the time, and we don't really have to be even that knowledgeable, right, to do family history activities. We just need to know where to go and what the resources are. We're like a librarian, and we have this huge library to choose from. And if we're not tech savvy at all, just ask children or youth to help you out, and then just have a willing heart and and some fortitude. So we have these resources, and Shenley, yours is amazing. And we also she has many videos on Roots Tech to help us out. We have videos on Roots Tech. You can just look it up. There's a little menu item that says on demand, and you can look up videos to help you learn. And then, oh, I wanted to mention too that Jonah and Charlotte Barnes, they've been on our Turtle House Firesides a lot, and they have a turninglittlehearts.com site. And, you know, those are just a couple. We have so many. And we're going to talk about a real big one right now.
Yes, a major one. How about when you think about family history, we almost want to change the name again, you know, because it used to be genealogy, and then they changed it to family history to get us to think differently. And President Nelson got up and said, I just want to talk to you about gathering on both sides of the veil. And really what we're doing is gathering details and facts about our family. But the first tool, if you really want this to work, is you have to have your 4-generation sheet on Family Search. If you can get your 4 generations back, then miracles happen, because all the games and all the activities and all the things open up, in a world of exploration opens up in family history, or the gathering process, right? So our new family history leader came to our meeting one day, and he quietly took me to the corner and he said, hey, Scott, I got to tell you something. Half of my tree is empty, and I'm supposed to be the family history leader, and I don't know what to do. And I said, do you have a relative that might know some dates? And he said, yeah, my sister is good at that. So we called his sister and we started to put in dates, because all you have to do is get back to the dead, right? And as soon as he got back to his dead, his tree populated back 10 generations. And he stood up at the end of that meeting and said, I am the family history leader. Somehow this idea that we can just get those generations, put that much in, and then it starts coming to life. Because Family Search has lots of activities, lots of new ideas. One of our favorite, I mean, there's a whole section just called activities on Family Search, but one of them is called All About Me. And you type in your birth year, and it'll pop up that year, and it'll show you all about your life, that time. And as it does, there you go. There's a picture of it. All About Me. It'll ask you lots of questions and have a quiz. So when you go back to as old as I am, because the prophet had a beard when I was born, and that might put perspective on things. The kids think it's funny. They say, how much was a gallon of gas? And it was 26 cents a gallon, right? And they start finding, how many temples were there? My grandson said, 1, Grandpa, 1. I said, no, not 1. There were 8. There were 8 temples on the earth when I was born. And they start to relate to that, but also it brings out facts and details. And you start telling stories about what it was like back then. Or you can put in a different date and say, what was the earth like when you were my age? And they put in when I was 15 or when I was 18. And we compare things. It is so much fun. And these activities are great. And talk about fun and engaging, but also learning about things. Wonderful that way.
So if you haven't checked it out yet, just go to Family Search, and there's an activities tab. And there are more activities once you sign into Family Search, but they're for internet and they're for not internet, and they're just everything you can imagine. They are marvelous and so fun. Our kids just have a ball with those.
And the work's all done for you.
In fact, right on to do it. Yeah, one time two of our little grand boys talking together, and they had their phones out, and one said, oh, you know, does grandma have any games on her phone? And he's like grabbing my phone, looking at it, and the other one said,
there's nothing fun on this phone. And the answer was,
hey, she has Family Search. Look at all this. And he took his little cousin right to Family Search and to all the games on there. It was awesome. Anyway, yeah.
Better than Crazy Birds or whatever that one, Angry Birds.
Once you have your 4 generations filled in, and what Shelley was talking about is the BYU Family History Tech Lab with Jenny Opperty. And let's see, what's the other one? Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Family Fortune. And they've got a ton of stuff, ancestor games for little kids. And so check that out too. Just go to the the BYU Family History Tech Lab.
And as long as we're talking about resources, let's just tell you about the Family History Guide. Family History Guide happens to have hundreds of activities recorded for children, for teens, for singles, for families, and all those activities, hundreds of them are available without any work. In fact, there are those that take a little time, and there are those that are ready immediately. But the Family History Guide is a free site that tells you how to do every single thing in family history step by step. It shows you everything on Family Search or Ancestry or MyHeritage or Find My Past. but it also has amazing activities and lots of wonderful ways to have fun, like we're talking about. I mean, real fun, right?
So we have on there, actually, we, like in our introduction, we volunteer for this site. We absolutely love it. It is your new best friend in trying to find
Other
out.
than each other.
Yeah.
I mean, she's my best friend, but
That's right.
Family History Guide's next.
Anyway, it is an amazing resource, and it can, yeah, like we said, it can help with any part, but the activities, and that's my department.
Yes, it is.
We have them for families and individuals and youth and children. And there's an index that you can go to. And one of my favorite parts is, and we'll show you right how to get there, next slide, is called, let's see, it's under the family activities section. Okay. And that's just at the top menu. And then you go to the number 9 tab, which is 5-minute ideas for Latter-day Saint activities.
How many 5-minute ideas are there? Hundreds.
There's a lot, and they're all linked. So you can just go to this little part of the Family History Guide and find a ton of ideas. Shinley shared so many, and there's ones like that. There are links to the Family History Guide ones, the Family Search ones, and the BYU Tech Lab, and all sorts of other ones. There are activities that you may never have thought of.
That's for sure. In fact, we have tried to get our kids together and just give them a list of all these kind of things and let them start going through and picking their own. We'll tell you a little more about that when we did our family reunion that was all about family history. But
oh yeah, every family reunion we do is about family history.
Yeah, for some reason.
So we did. Yeah, it's really fun to just do rotations and go around and do different activities and have the kids in groups. It makes family reunions really sparkle.
So let's show you a little video about people doing family history activities to show you how fun they can be.
They say that a kid's attention span is about a minute longer than his age. I don't know who they are and who these kids are, but our kids don't have an attention span anywhere near that long. So when we're together trying to do family history or family activities, we have to switch activities a lot. And we found that it's most effective when our kids are active in the activities we're doing.
I feel like cooking family recipes that have been handed down from generations can bring us closer together, and that I can pass down to my children and generations to come.
I love the Family History Guide. You go to the main website and you're able to click on the Activities tab, and it will pull up hundreds of activities that you can do with your family.
Our kids love doing family history. The activities are so exciting to them that they come to us asking for more.
We really like to do activities with our kids to teach them family history because they pay attention more, they're more likely to remember what they've learned and apply it in their lives.
With Google Earth, I'm able to share my experience with my friends and family. I just got back from a service project in Indonesia. So by using Google Earth, I can take them right to the place where I served, the places that I ate, and it's been super cool to be able to share my stories but show them around.
As a busy mom, you know, I need things that I don't need to do a lot of preparation for. I need things that are ready to go. With the Family History Guide, my kids can get on there themselves and they can pull up activities, hundreds of activities. To me, that is so invaluable, a way for them to learn.
Late at night, they're asking us to read stories from family journals, and it wasn't just fun for the kids, it was fun for me to bring that into, this is how we spend time together as a family. It's by talking about family, learning about family.
What is your favorite food, Grandma Lee?
These activities have helped me and my family to grow closer together, and while we grow closer and develop relationships, we grow closer to our ancestors. And through that, I've been able to find a foundation in who I am and who I can become.
It seems to give them a greater sense of control in their life. It helps them feel like they're part of something bigger.
Overall, I feel like just spending time with the kids to be able to do these activities it's really created in them a passion for family history.
Family history comes to life when we do activities together in our home.
And all that fun stuff has to do with family history. Every one of those activities. We were doing the Google Earth activity once, and this is great. You get the kids that have been on a mission or been somewhere neat, they'll just pull up the very site where they were, walk down the very street where they were when they're telling the stories. And our son was doing this. He was in Korea and he was walking down the street and he said, right down around this corner is my apartment. And he came around the corner and there was a picture of his apartment, and it was taken just long enough ago that his bike was sitting in the driveway of the apartment. He said, that's my bike. And it just made it come alive. And all the younger grandkids are around listening to this intently and hearing these great stories.
And you can do homelands too. See where your ancestors lived.
Oh, yeah.
Or where they
travel
your
anywhere
relatives live
virtually.
now. It's awesome.
Hadley, that was just talking to you, is just getting married in a week. And I was listening to her just now and thinking about when she was younger and said, you know, doing these activities brings me closer to my family, but it also helps me know who I am and who I can become. And I think she really encapsulated something that's really important. As we get to know them, they give us strength to become what we need to become. We love family stories.
That's right. And they're so, so critical. And Shelley loves to talk about this particular resource and research that was done. But Bruce Feiler, you can find this in the New York Times article, The Stories That Bind Us. He said, if you want a happier family, create, refine, and retell the story of your family's positive moments and your family's ability to bounce back from the negative ones or the difficult ones. That act alone may increase the odds that your family will thrive for many generations to come. It's all about stories, learning how people did overcome and their feelings and getting to know them. And in fact, we just did a video for Roots Tech. It's called Why We Need Our Family Story Now More Than Ever. And the next slide shows the thumbnail on that one. But we just had our family, our children and our grandchildren, talk about my mom and interview her and talk about her life and just have her tell these stories. And then they shared why they are different in their lives now because of the stories, the narrative that she just keeps up. And she is the one who helped me learn to love my ancestors. And those stories just mean everything. So record them. This is an activity that you have a million variations that you can do. In fact, the idea is, like Shelley said, you get people talking, you interview them. The All About Me is all about getting people to share stories. And so we have another little activity that is called the Family History Fun Basket. And you just put questions in there and people take turns drawing them out and answering them. Things like, what is your favorite meal that your grandma makes? Or if you could meet an ancestor from the other side of the veil, what would you ask them?
I have some I'd like to ask a question or two.
There's also this amazing site called All the Stories.
Love
and
this.
Again, you need to have 4 generations at least filled out on Family Search, and it draws from that. So it takes you to your Family Search profile, and you go there and you can see all the stories. They just populate all the stories that anyone has ever put on your part of the family tree.
Yeah, it's not your stories you put on.
It's
Anybody
everybody's.
anywhere has put a story on. I guess how many she had when she did it last.
Well, I did. Yeah, the first time I did it, I'm like, I am shocked. There were over 800 stories. I had no idea that they were all there, and to explore those and learn from them and record them, you know, it's just been an amazing experience. So look that up, All the Stories.
So powerful. And we've illustrated those with children's books that they read at night. We've played charades with them. There's so many things to do with stories to make them come alive. But sometimes we think about family history stories, we think about dead people. But it's so important to capture live people, the people that are still around. And Shelley just talked about this, but the idea of interviewing people, I mean, my dad did not like children, probably because I was his child. but they're noisy and all that. And he would stay at our house for a couple of minutes and then he would leave. And he came one day and we gave him all a 3x5 card with questions for Grandpa. And we put him in the corner and they all sat down on the carpet around him. And they just kept pulling up questions and saying, tell us about your pink Jeep you had in Guam just after the war when you were in the Navy. And he would look at him like, how do you know about that? And then he would tell the whole funny story. An hour and a half later, my dad, who had never shared his stories, was still talking to those kids and telling them about his life experience. One of our favorite ones, though, and this is so fun in a family group. Oh, family history fun in a family group is the best. Or even an award. We have a award with lots of older people. The youth wanted to do something, so we got the older people together. That means people over 65. And they all got together and sat on one side of the room, and the youth all sat on the other side, and they had a resource called 52 Questions. And it had lots of different questions for them, and they'd sit across from them. We called this fast friendship. And they would talk to him for 3 minutes and ask him a question. And then they would move to the right and ask the next one a question. When we got done with this an hour and a half later, Denny walked up to me and said, this is the most meaningful thing I've had happen in my life in the last years. Those kids really were interested. But the kids also heard people like Ferris say, I was on an aircraft carrier in World War II for 3 years, only off for 2 weeks. I saw that kamikaze pilot coming in toward our ship and was sitting there on the gunner. And these kids were blown away that these people they go to church with every week had these amazing stories that made them come alive. So they decided to record them. They recorded Ferris's story, and then he passed away shortly thereafter. He had never shared his stories, but they captured those. Our bishop even said, my dad died when I was 2. I've never heard his voice. I would give anything to hear his voice. I don't want my kids to do that. The youth heard him say that. So they went over to the bishop's house. They got out the wonderful app, Memories app, and clicked on it and said, tell us stories. We're going to record your voice for your kids. And they recorded this amazing story from the bishop about his life and put it on Family Search. So many things to do in interviewing and ways to capture that and keep that are just fun and interactive and really connect you with people. It's amazing.
Amen. And I think the idea is just to have family history in the air. Like have your Mary Poppins bag, of course. And now you have all these resources, places to go that you can just pull up on your phone and come up with something for time fillers, like when you're in a line or in the car or just, you've got a minute or two. Or
she is so good at this.
Or
it's fun.
Yeah, it is. And it's just like having, because you've got your phone and you can go to Family Search, you can use those stories anytime and you can record anytime and add your own stories.
You have to be really careful what you say because she's recording it most of the time.
You know it. And just little games that if you've got them in your mind, you can pop them out and use them. Like I'm thinking of an ancestor who, or 20 questions, or tell family history stories with a twist, or play Pictionary with family history, or, any of those kind of things. Just slip it in. Be an expert at inserting family history wherever you can and just making it part of like everyday life, right? You've got that 5-minute activity source and you can go to there anytime. There's also a 21-day family history experiment on Facebook with a ton of ideas that you can go to. And just one more that we want to share.
This
really
is one
quickly.
of my favorite, and she has done everything to make this happen. But boy, talk about slipping it in as a part of your normal experience. It's kind of the add-on principle, where all of a sudden what we do is say, what are we doing consistently? Let's add on something so we can get those beautiful blessings Shenley talked about with family history.
Amen. So let's watch the little video first, and then we'll talk about it.
And Angelle Anderson. And I happen to be married to a woman who is so enthusiastic about family history. In fact, she's called the Family History Enthusiastical.
That's me.
Our grandkids even call her Grandma Camera.
And they call him Grandpa Storyteller.
Because all she does is take pictures to document everything.
And all he does is tell stories.
And today we're having you here so we can have the Come Follow Me companion class.
And we're excited to share easy ways to make family history more a part of your lives. The Come Follow Me Companion is a collection of family history activities that have to do with every single week of Come Follow Me. created this companion to Come Follow Me so that you can enrich your daily lives with family history activities, things you might have always wanted to do and you have in the back of your mind, but this just makes it easy because it's correlated to what Come Follow Me is already giving you, things that you're already studying in your home-centered approach. We love it.
We love it. It's on the free site called The Family History Guide. Totally free and available for anyone. Get on the site, and then as you open it up, go to the main page. As you're there, just scroll to the bottom, and you'll find a little statement that says the Come Follow Me Companion. Click on that, and it'll open up and give you a chance to see this wonderful new resource.
Okay, Mark, that's great.
Yes. We also,
Those are cute people, those two people.
yeah. Oh, anyway, we also have the entire video. You can find it on Roots Tech. And it is called Weekly Family History Activities, a Come Follow Me companion. And honestly, you can get the blessings of doing both things, having your home-centered church, Come Follow Me. And then if you add these just simple family history activities to what you're studying, even the 5-minute ones, you're getting the blessings of doing both.
So we're almost done, but we want to share what it's like to do bigger group activities. This is so great. Our family reunions that we've had that are family history oriented have just been filled with family history activities. I know we got this big chart. Remember those charts you used to use to see how many days a missionary had left? So 720 little dots. We had a list of so many family history activities, and the kids got to select their own, and it was the uncles and aunts were there, and they could talk to them and learn to dance from them and do all kinds of fun activities. And they got to put the dots on and got a big prize at the end.
And they were on fire about this. They filled out, what is 2 years? How many days? Anyway.
720 days.
Yeah, they filled them all in with different activities. They were making up their own activities, calling their cousins that weren't there or grandparents and dancing for the ages and just all these crazy fun things. And it kept them busy, like we said, and happy. It was just so fun.
So in the midst of that, this is an example of award activity, but there are so many others. This is a delightful little glimpse. Let's go to the Crack the Case video and show you just an example of a bunch of youth that said, we want to show our parents ways to really make family history alive and fun in their home. So fun. Okay, we also had a 50s night when the 50s census came out and decorated the whole thing like the 50s, and it was a lot of fun. We did that as a family reunion activity.
Skirts.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
How can family history be more fun?
I know. So we hope that some of these ideas and these resources will be of help to all of you watching tonight. We're grateful to have been part of this. We want to just leave with our testimony of the most important activity that we can do with family history, and that's temple work. And we have an easy way to find our ancestors so we can take them to the temple. And it's called Ordinance is Ready. It's right on the menu of Family Search. You sign in and it takes you to an opportunity to do baptisms or any other ordinance. And
Most of you know
not
about that.
only, yeah, most of you know about that, but this other part, a lot of people haven't heard about yet. And it is so cool.
If you look up the name of whoever you're taking to the temple, there's a little tab underneath that says find out about Henry Jones. And you'll click on it, it'll take you to their page, and you'll
Their
find out when they were
profile.
born and where they lived and the details about them. So you're not taking a name, you're taking a person. And suddenly they become alive for you, and you find out more about them and show you exactly how you're related to them. It's an effort by the church to help us really connect
And
with
see our
people.
relationship to them too, so
And
we can
not
make that
just
connection.
serve them,
That's
but
right.
connect with them in a meaningful way.
That's right.
So we want to share our great enthusiasm for this, but also our knowledge that they are very aware of us and desiring very much to bless us. That wonderful moment when Elisha was standing there and the young adult was standing next to him, and the whole Syrian army was coming, and he said, Master, what shall we do? And he said, oh, those that are with us outnumber those that are against us. And he said, I don't see it that way. And he said, Heavenly Father, pull back the veil. And flaming chariots of fire surrounded them. We know that those from the other side are anxiously involved in our lives. Joseph F. Smith said, more anxious than we are about our own, to help us and support us. And the more we connect with them, the more they can bless our lives. And
And the more we love them when we connect with them.
and the difference they can make in our decisions in our own
Absolutely.
lives. And leave that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.